Light up the night.
It has been going on in my family for generations.
We see victims coming forward a lot more.
A unique ceremony draws attention to domestic violence. Hear why people say this cause is so important. Museum progress.
We just can't wait to welcome people in and see their reactions.
We are inside the Irving Archives and Museum as it gets into the final stages of construction. See some of the attractions taking shape. Preserving the past.
When they have a little event like this, it allows us to come in and get involved.
Volunteers are making a difference at one of the city's oldest cemeteries. See the improvements they have made. Plus, the ceremony to remember fallen firefighters. Donors step up with backpacks for kids. And the celebrations for National Night Out. Now on City Source. Hello and welcome to City Source. I'm Thomas Gandy. We begin with a special observance that is developing into a tradition. Illuminate Irving draws attention to the issues surrounding domestic violence. We were at the ceremony on the Mandalay Canal to hear from participants. As the sun sets over Las Colinas,
I want them to feel hope.
On this night, there is an added source of light.
And it's a powerful testament.
Dozens of paper lanterns are floating down the Mandalay Canal, all meant to highlight a crime often kept in the dark.
The community needs to know about what's going on related to domestic violence.
That's why the Irving Police Department is hosting Illuminate Irving, a night of remembrance and hope. Earlier, people wrote heartfelt messages on those lanterns. Some of the stories behind them are heartbreaking.
Back in 2011, our aunt was murdered. She was murdered by her husband of 11 years. And she was dumped in a river.
Before her case made news headlines, they had all seen signs of trouble in her relationship.
We tried helping her and she never wanted help. She thought it was okay, she thought it was fine.
There are so many victims who don't know a way out of that cycle, who think that remaining in that environment is their only option.
That's why agencies are out here, to let people know that there are a range of groups ready to help.
We actually provide services in 40 different languages and with multicultural case managers. Someone who understands your cultural background can help you seek the help that you need.
I think the need has always been there, but I think with the Me Too movement and with the rhetoric kind of changing in the community, we see victims coming forward a lot more. More and more survivors, hopefully, both males and females, are starting to come forward.
About 200 cases.
Some are here to share their pride in what they have overcome.
It has been going on in my family for generations, and I just got tired of seeing it, and so I decided to step up and do something about it.
Others are here to show their support for victims with thoughtful messages on the lanterns.
I think it's a significant thing to be mindful of and something worthwhile for the community to put some effort behind.
We realize that's a challenge, and so we try to face it head on, and this is just one opportunity for people to come together and bring light to a real challenging situation.
Do not procrastinate, because it could be the difference between life and death.
Several speakers share their experiences, both personal and passed down.
Hi, my name is Abigail and I am 9 years old.
Abigail is the daughter of the police department's victim services supervisor. At what age did you start talking about this topic?
We actually started talking about it when we did Illuminate Irving 2 years ago. I told her that we were going to go fill out a lantern for her pops, and she wanted to know why.
I found out that my pops lived in a very scary home. His father hit him and his mom.
I'm really proud of her. I mean, it's exciting that she's sharing that message, that she's willing to share a part of our family with everyone else.
I think we should all do our part so that kids like me can grow up in homes with no violence.
We all know someone.
With the speakers and lanterns all complete,
In memory of Maritza Andrade, that we love her and we miss her so much.
People are ready to focus on the Mandalay Canal, their specific lanterns, and this one.
The first lantern to be released on the water is in recognition of the 211 Texans who were murdered this year by domestic violence.
For the people at this event, their pain and heartbreak will never just float away, but they do want to see this focus, this illumination on the issue of domestic violence.
It's amazing, it actually brings tears to our eyes. It feels good to have people there for you.
Resources are available through the Police Department's Family Advocacy Center. Learn more at cityofirving.org/2623 or call 972-721-6560. And you can see more from Illuminate Irving at the end of today's show. Another moving ceremony happened at the start of Fire Prevention Week. Irving joined departments across the country in honoring and remembering fallen firefighters.
Today is an annual remembrance of fallen firefighters.
This service coincides with the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation's memorial ceremony that's being held at Emmitsburg, Maryland.
They hold it every year at the NFA. We and other cities also hold smaller ceremonies to help remember fallen firefighters. But here in Irving, we have two names on our wall: firefighter James Presnall and fire equipment operator Wendell McClure. I only hope we never have to add another name on our firefighter memorial wall.
It is the duty of every one of us working today to honor their memory and sacrifice by constantly working to improve our service and take heed of the hard lessons learned.
And you feel it even when it happens to another department. It's like a punch in the gut. And so we're here today to say thank you to those guys, those ladies, the ones who've given their life to serve their cities.
When a firefighter dies in a line of duty, it is the toll of a bell that announces our brother or sister's passing. We utilize these traditions as symbols which honor those who have given so much and served so well.
While we accept the dangers and risks of this profession, we should never accept the loss of a fellow firefighter without honoring them and learning from their untimely death.
We are proud that the Irving Fire Department has the support of its citizens and leaders to be at the forefront in many aspects of firefighter safety. We honor Presnall and McClure as our brothers by going out there, providing the best all hazards emergency response services we can to our citizens, and by reflecting formally in ceremonies such as this one today. That is how we ensure their memory lives on.
That location will also be the site of a special ceremony to mark Veterans Day. It's on Monday, November 11th at 11:30. The event starts in the auditorium of the former Central Library with speakers and music, then moves to the park for a wreath-laying ceremony. The Veterans Memorial Park Committee hosts that event. The Irving Archives and Museum is set to open in about 2 months. December 19th, the anniversary of the city's first lot sale. The museum team is working to make sure everything is ready.
Really rewarding to get to see it actually physically come into being. You know, you work off of paper plans and computer renderings and models and talk about it, but when it actually starts to physically appear, it's a really exciting moment.
We stopped by for a special preview. Construction is just about finished in this space that used to be the first floor of the Central Library, and about half of the museum's exhibits are already getting into place. Those exhibits showcase 3 sections of Irving history, including its earliest days.
When you look at Irving's history, there's really 3 chapters. There's this frontier founding area where, you know, Irving is just getting established, the railroad comes in, and it's a small town. And then there's this middle section right after World War II where Irving becomes a bedroom community to Dallas, and we call that suburbia. But that third section is where Irving kind of takes a turn and becomes its own city. If you see where Dallas-Fort Worth Airport comes in, Texas Stadium is built, and Las Colinas is developed. It's no longer a bedroom community to Dallas or Fort Worth. It's its own city.
Another attraction is the Smithsonian-affiliated Spark Lab, which is the only one in Texas.
It is an invention space designed particularly for 6 to 12-year-olds, but also for families, and it's where kids get to go in and think like inventors. And so, how do you clean up plastic in the ocean, or how do you make a better flying machine?
There is a lot more to see in that space, and we'll be taking a detailed look as we cover that soft opening event in late December and the full opening celebration scheduled for early next year. We have a couple of news items to pass along from the Campion Trail. The northern section of Sam Houston Trail Park is closed for improvements. The work will make that section of the trail less prone to flooding. The project is scheduled to be complete early next year. Also, the cities of Irving and Capel, along with Dallas County, will dedicate a new section of the Campion Trail. You see the nearly 3-mile section here in this view from above. It connects Capel's trail with Irving's. Everyone is invited to the dedication ceremony. It's on Tuesday, October 29th at 9:30 a.m., and golf cart tours will be available. Parking for the event is at 820 South MacArthur Boulevard in Capel. Guests are asked to RSVP by calling 972-721-2501. 10 state constitutional amendments and a proposed amendment to the city charter will be on the ballot this November, and there is new information for voters to be aware of. This year, Dallas County is implementing vote centers across the county. The centers will allow residents to vote at any polling location during early voting, and most of those locations will be open on Election Day. Dallas County voters will no longer be required to vote in their designated precincts. The goal of all of this is to make the process more accessible. Early voting is October 21st through November 1st. Election Day is November 5th. Polling locations and hours are available at cityofirving.org and dallascountyvotes.org. In another election-related story, the Irving City Council appointed 18 residents to a bond task force to make recommendations for big projects the city can look at taking on over the next decade. The task force will consider streets, parks, public safety, and more. All of this leads up to a bond election the city is expected to call for next May. Task force members will be meeting with city staff to get ideas. Resident input is also welcome. Look for the link at cityofirving.org. The Irving Police Department boasts a low crime rate, and officers often give credit to neighborhood involvement. That is on full display during National Night Out. City Source reporter Benjamin Diaz checked out a few of the celebrations.
Neighborhoods all across the country came together for one special evening in the first week of October for something you may have heard of called National Night Out. It was the talk of the town. Irving police gave gifts to children. But there would soon be a tasty twist. Northwest Park was packed as Irving police judged a special dessert contest where Denise Alexander came out on top as the winner.
You have won our dessert contest.
With a dessert she calls Ooey Gooey.
My dessert won, yay!
David Mendoza recently moved to Irving, and when he heard about National Night Out from the Espanita Neighborhood Association, he knew he had to join in.
They send a paper out and we're like, hey man, it's good to go meet neighbors, have community, socialize a little bit, get to know people around here.
It's an event that the city of Irving also takes pride in participating in. Not only is it a day where residents come out to meet one another, but it's also a chance for the Irving Police Department and other first responders to form a stronger bond with people in the city.
Well, it's good that the community gets to come together with the police officers so they see us more than just, I know that we're authority figures, but they need to see us that we're just regular people like everyone else.
We're here to help, and we can answer any questions, talk about any of the services we provide, and just be a resource for the community.
Throughout the afternoon, places like Northwest Park, Georgia Federal Recreation Center, and even the First Church of the Nazarene were among 30 locations across Irving celebrating camaraderie, games, and food.
Want some chips or anything?
No, I'm fine like that. Just the burger's okay, thank you.
Joan Gilliam has been living in Irving for 32 years, and she was one of many residents who helped put this gathering together in her neighborhood.
You know, it's like a family, a community of families, you know. It's just really a good thing to do.
Other longtime Irving residents say that originally, neighbors would meet at the driveway of a local home for National Night Out. But that soon changed as more residents started joining in.
Good, kind people. I like the diversity. I don't want to go live in some bubble somewhere. This is home, and we'll stay home.
Just a few miles away, the PHA Freemasons organized an outing at the Georgia Federal Rec Center. Here, City of Irving Councilman Dennis Webb spent some quality time with police, meeting local kids who were having a blast.
It's good for, the neighbors and people to just kind of take the time and just come out and enjoy fellowship with one another, because a lot of that's not really happening anymore like it should be. So it's just good for the city and it's good for the community.
It's beautiful people, very friendly. The park is awesome. The kids love it. It's a nice neighborhood, so it's just awesome.
All in all, Irving's National Night Out was a huge success. But take it from these kids who had a special message to deliver.
We love National Night Out!
Benjamin Diaz for City Source.
And we have another example of people coming together to make an impact. In this case, it's at a cemetery where Irving residents have rolled up their sleeves and done the hard work necessary to preserve it. Brett Wheeler has the story.
There are plenty of recognizable names here at Sowers Cemetery.
I'm sure I would leave some names out, but I mean, you're talking about the names of our schools and our streets, like L.B. Barton, M.C. Lively, Albert Farine, Story, and Metker.
Those with the Sowers Cemetery Association say there are about 1,300 people who are buried here. And thanks to the association, the memories of the departed are being kept alive through restorations and upkeep of the grounds. On this day, the association is here to show the public what it takes to restore some of the older headstones, as well as give a guided tour of the cemetery.
So she marries Mr. Mitchell, who is at the end there.
But on top of all of that, the Sowers Cemetery Association dedicated a new plaque to honor those who have helped keep up the grounds of this historic place.
Headstones topple over, headstones get broken, they get grown over with the grass, and the plaque recognizes all the people that recognize that problem and were willing to step up to the plate and make a significant donation, either in kind or monetarily.
It's wonderful because we came here years ago and it was really bad, and we didn't, not living here, it's hard to be involved in something. So when they have a little event like this, it allows us to come in and get involved.
Paul Carpenter is the grandson of Lee Jackson Metker, who was buried here at the cemetery, and says even though his grandfather has passed, his legacy is still alive.
He was a big politician. He was a state representative at one time. He was a game warden, and so he was very involved in stuff. The more I know about him, the more I think that he was a very great man.
Those with the Sowers Cemetery Association say it's important to keep the bond with those who have come before us, and also important to maintain places like Sowers for future generations.
Everybody on these premises will be gone someday, but this cemetery will still be here. So it's kind of like, what kind of condition do you want to leave it to for the community in the future? And hopefully we can create some momentum that it just continues to grow each year.
And hopefully that is a legacy that can live forever. Brett Wheeler for City Source.
In economic development news, there are new additions at the Toyota Music Factory, an entertainment and dining destination owned by the city of Irving. Mama Tried, described as a Texas-style honky-tonk, had a crowd of music fans for its sneak preview weekend of free concerts inside and outside the restaurant. It features Southern-style food, pool tables, and shuffleboard. We'll be there to cover the ribbon cutting. Then Pacheco's Taco Bar is opening soon in a spot fronting Las Colinas Boulevard. Also, Stumpy's Hatchet House will debut its first DFW location at the Music Factory. It features an unusual recreation opportunity. You see it here, hatchet throwing. It will be located next to TCBY. And just announced, Mercy Wine Bar is scheduled to open this December in the space above Green Gator Sports Bar. It will feature more than 100 wines by the glass, food, and live music. This will be the second location for Mercy, which also has a spot in Addison. Other attractions still to come at the Music Factory include Rayleigh Underground and Kitchen 101. Much more about those in the weeks and months ahead. The Toyota Music Factory has a really full schedule of events, including ticketed concerts in the pavilion and free shows and movies on the Texas Lottery Plaza. Find a full listing of events at toyotamusicfactory.com. The next tours of Irving's Heritage House will feature something extra. The Irving Quilt Guild will host a Quilt of Valor exhibit, and guests may sign blocks with their names or message for the military. It is part of a national project to create quilts for active military and veterans. The Heritage House tours are on Sunday, November 3rd from 3 until 5 p.m. The house is a Texas historic landmark built in 1912. Tours and participation in the Quilt of Valor project are free. The house is located at 303 South O'Connor Road. School has been in session for a while now, probably long enough to fill up some notebooks with assignments. So it may be time for some new supplies. That's where people are coming together to help out. Benjamin Diaz is back with that report.
It's pickup day for several Irving ISD students at Lee Park Recreation Center, where UPS just made a special delivery along with a few helping hands. And it's all thanks to the unique idea from one Irving man who wanted to give back to his community.
I've worked with kids for about 10 years now, and you see kids who may need stuff and stuff like that, and you always wish to help. And now this is giving me the chance to help out the kids who may be in need or anybody who may be in need.
The event is called Supplying Our Youth. The goal is to give school supplies and dozens of backpacks to kids who are part of an after-school program at Lee and Northwest Park, all completely free for students who need it the most.
We see kids who come in and they don't have the right supplies or anything like that, so being able to reach out to them and get them more supplies helped us want to do this event.
Like from where I'm from, like events like this rarely happens, where people give away things for free and kids get to come and play and have fun and get free food and win prizes at games.
6-year-old Preston Tarpley is part of an after-school program at Northwest Park. Even before the school year started, Preston spent much of his summer participating in daily activities at the recreation center. His father says he is grateful to everyone involved for this day.
I think it's a very positive thing and promotes goodwill in the community. So very good program.
And Preston proudly showed off to us a special prize he received before getting his backpack.
I won this badge. This means I'm for a police.
Danielle Bradley attended the event with her kids who also benefited from the free supplies, but not before they played some games, ate some delicious food, and of course had fun.
They play the games, they play at the park, they're eating, just everything, enjoying each other.
I think it's good because some people don't really have enough money to buy school supplies, so I think it's a good get-together.
Sarah Chavez and her daughters recently moved from El Paso to Irving, and she can already feel the strong community support for one another.
Irving has been really good community to us. We've only been here for 2 months, but we really enjoy it.
Making this possible wasn't easy. It took a team and community effort. When UPS and Irving Cares learned about the chance to give back to these students, they didn't hesitate.
It was on Aaron's heart to do a school drive, a supply drive for those students, and that's right up our alley. So we partnered with Irving Rec Center and Irving Cares to make sure that we could fulfill some of those needs that they fulfill every day. So it is really our privilege to be able to join in with them.
For the next event that we're planning on doing, we're planning on branching out and getting everybody else who may need supplies. We're working with Irving Cares to see if we can get more kids that may need different stuff throughout the school year.
I would just challenge, I put out a lovely friendly challenge to all of our other counterparts, corporations, to really get involved in the community. Wherever you are, start there.
Benjamin Diaz for City Source.
All right, now it's time for Pets of the Week, so let's head out to the Animal Care Campus.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Pets of the Week. I'm Raina, this is Michael Whiteside, and we have a special guest joining us today, JP.
Thanks Raina, it's always a blast to be back here at Pets of the Week, the Care Campus. And Michael, here we have Theo.
This is Theo. He is about 6 months old. He's very playful. He's a lab mix, probably mixed with quite a few different things. And he actually was the product of an unwanted litter. And he's ready to go home and ready to play.
What kind of family would be best for Theo?
He is very active. He's, like I said, he's only 6 months old. He's got a lot of energy, but he's very smart. He knows sit. When he's got some of that energy out, he'll sit down and sit in your lap, or he'll lay across your lap. He loves to play with toys, and he loves water. We've learned that from the pools in the yard. And so it's really, a family with kids would be great. He is a little jumpy, but that can be trained out. An active family that has a yard and goes running or walking because he really just wants to play and have a good time.
All right, Michael, so I hear our next guest loves to cuddle. Who do we have here?
He does love to cuddle, and his name is actually Cuddles, so it's very appropriate for him. He's a snuggler. He's about 1.5 years old. He is a terrier mix, with a very handsome face with some brown and black coloring. He is a little nervous here in the shelter. I think it's just all the barking. I think that kind of, makes him a little nervous. So he's probably gonna do really well in a home that's relatively quiet. So, because he does get a little jumpy around all of the barking and the noises.
And obviously, someone who loves cuddles would have to cuddle with him, right?
That is for sure. I would imagine he is going to be pretty demanding about having lap time with you because that's really just kind of what he enjoys doing. When I was carrying him earlier, he just kind of snuggled into my neck. So he's a very loving dog, really just loves to be with his human, and is going to make a great pet for anybody, really.
And even though he was shy, when I went outside, he just went up to me and JP, like so loving, so trusting of.
Like I said, I think a lot of his nervousness is more with the noise, but once he sees people, he's just really anxious to go meet them and get to know them, and of course get some cuddles.
All right, Michael, and here we have Itsy Bitsy, right? Or is it just Bitsy?
It's just Bitsy.
Bitsy, okay.
But that's okay. I think either would work for her because she's gonna come to you whatever you call her because she's just a love bug, just crazy in love with everybody that she meets. She is a bit older. She's about 8 years old, and she has been having some issues with her lower back here that are just causing her a little bit of pain. So she's going to be on some meds and see the vet a few more times while she's here, and then she'll be ready to go home. But I believe that's the reason that she was surrendered by her owners, because they couldn't afford to give her the medical care that she needed. As you can see though, she's quite sweet. She really loves to be held. We are trying not to pick her up right now because of her back, but she's such a sweet, sweet girl. She's a Pekingese mix, which is kind of hard to tell because she did have to get her hair shaved, but she's just a sweetheart.
And every time she climbs up in my lap, she's looking at me and I'm just falling in love. I feel like anybody who's gonna see her try to...
Yes, and she has one of those faces. She looks like she only has eyes for whoever she's looking at, and she will sucker you in every time, which is a good thing. She's 8, so she's technically a senior dog, and she really deserves a loving home to spend her golden years in.
So once she is ready to go home, what kind of family do you think would be best?
She's probably going to do better in a quiet home with just adults, mainly because she's older, because of her back issues, and somebody that's going to be able to spend time and make sure that she gets the care that she needs, and of course give her a ton of love and attention.
All right, Michael, and tell us about Adopt a Shelter Dog Month.
Yes, here we like to kind of call it Dogtober. And right now, throughout the month of October, all of our large dogs, 40 pounds and larger, are only $10 to adopt. And we have a lot of large dogs in the shelter right now waiting for their homes. So it's a great time to come out and pick out one of those dogs that you can take home and get accustomed to a routine before the holidays really get going and kind of get into full swing. So, come on out and find one of those dogs that's gonna meet your needs.
All right, so obviously Bitsy does not fall into that big dog category, but there are plenty more big dogs here to choose from. And with that being said, that sounds like a great program. Back to you, Thomas.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Some good ones there. The Animal Care Campus is located at 4140 Valley View Lane. It is open Tuesday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. Then on Saturday, the hours are 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. Also, check out the websites you see on your screen for more adoptable animals. A new event celebrates some of the food available at the Toyota Music Factory. We have that story next time on City Source. Also, see where students are learning about careers in environmental fields. And the Irving Golf Club has been open for a few weeks, so now it's time to celebrate with a big grand opening. We'll be there to check out all of the attractions. Those stories and more next time. Remember, you can always email us your thoughts on our stories. The address is ictn@cityofirving.org. Also, visit our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thecityofirving. Subscribe and you can be among the first to see our videos when they are posted. Also, leave us some likes while you're there. And that's it for this edition of City Source. We leave you now with more from Illuminate Irving on the Mandalay Canal. Thanks to everyone who is a part of this one, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.